What is going on, everyone? My name is NWHunt97 and welcome to another Destiny 2 video. Now, first, a little warning, this is going to be an extremely long video, or at least I'm planning to do it. I might have all of my, all of my opinions on this video done probably quicker than I thought it would be. So, a little warning on that, so just go ahead and get some popcorn, play a game in the background, whatever. It's just me rambling. Anyway, in today's video, we're going to talk about some things like, especially comparing to what Destiny 1 did right and what Destiny 2 is doing wrong. So let's get started. So you probably heard a lot of controversy going on, not only with the Eververse, controversy, but also for a whole bunch of other things. Like, for example, you know, the comparison between Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. And a lot of people actually have really strong opinions on this. Me included. You've probably seen a video or two about me talking about certain things that need to be changed with Destiny 2. For a really good example is my crazy idea video with how the weapon system should change and what my idea is. It's honestly a crazy idea. If you want to check that out, check that video in the first link in the description. So anyway, I'm basically gonna tell you 5 things that Destiny 1 has done right, and really what Bungie should do, and should actually keep what we should bring that 5 things back from Destiny 1 into Destiny 2. So here we go, and we'll talk about each of these steps. Number 1, really, okay, so it's really just anything to do with, availability. You could choose what you want to do. I'm basically saying is you have more variety. There we go. Variety of what you have for Crucible. So with the Crucible, you have like 3 or 4 options that you have. You have quick play, you have competitive, you have trials, you have Curse of the Nine. Curse of Osiris, quick play, Curse of Osiris, competitive. That's it. Well, look at Destiny 1 right now. You can do Control, you could do Rumble, you could do Clash, you could do Mayhem. We did have that back at the Dawning when it was out at Destiny 2. We had, what is it called? We had Rumble, of course. We had Salvage. We had Skirmish. We had Combined Arms. We had obviously Elimination. We had all sorts of we had a lot of activities. Not to mention private matches, which we are going to get in a little bit. So what I'm saying here is that we really need to have that variety back. Like, we just go, if we want to do Crucible Destiny 2, all we do is just press a button, and we don't have variety. We don't choose where we want to go, right? We just get a randomized pick, and depending if it's your favorite activity or not, you don't have it, And there's a lot of Crucible activities that we don't have right now. For example, Rumble, which actually is confirmed coming back. Last time I checked, but this is, as of this video's recording, it's being recorded at Thursday, and I'm pretty sure it's before the Bungie update, but I don't know, maybe it's out right now, I just don't know. Maybe all of the things Bungie talks about in this week at Bungie is gonna be basically gonna make this video useless, which is really my goal for this video, honestly. Yeah, so we don't have any variety with Crucible, Like, sometimes I want to play Control. Sometimes I want to play Clash. Sometimes I want to play, Elimination or something like that, I want to play those things. Like, very specifically, I want to play it for hours. That's it only. I want to play Mayhem. I want to play Skirmish. I love playing Skirmish, back then. I love playing Rumble. Like, I've played so much hours playing Rumble. Like, that's what made me a better Destiny player, and with the Crucible, and because of Rumble, I wouldn't be as good as I am now. Although I'm not that good at all. I'm better, like the thing is, if you play this game for 4 years now, you would be okay at Crucible if you were to play it often, which I do. I'm probably play Destiny like 60-40, with 60 being PvE and 40 being PvP. So especially like around like you know, especially when there's no content available, which is actually pretty extensive with the Destiny 2. So I've been playing a lot more Crucible lately. So anyway, um, yeah, like we need more variety, and I absolutely loved it how Destiny 1 did it. You had some certain activities that came in specifically depending on what week it was, and you had some very special ones like combined arms or salvage that uh, like literally a minority of the community loved to play, and yet a whole bunch of people like to play it during that time of the week. And yeah, like we don't have that anymore. We don't have the options of choosing the certain activities, like all we do is just, hey, you want to play Crucible? Like, sure, you know. But back in Destiny 1, we used to say, hey, you want to play Crucible? Like, yeah, can we go play Skirmish, or can we play Rumble, or can we, just do average control? There are options, and not to mention, you could just, if you didn't want to do any of those things, you could just do private matches. Again, private matches were one of the best things you could have for Destiny. I don't know why it's not on Destiny 2 right now. And honestly, I don't know why. Like they should have had private matches in Destiny 2. Like the recent like if people wouldn't complain as much if we still had private matchmaking in Destiny 2, which we're going to have. I know. Just I need to make that clear. So that's number one. Number two is really just strikes overall, like heroic strikes. When the Destiny 2 came out, there weren't no heroic strikes. That was like some of the most favorite parts of the game. I really loved how there were certain modifiers for Destiny 1, and it made this heroic strikes. Not to mention with the expansion of the Dawning, like the last Dawning of Destiny 2 of Destiny, you had like basically you had a point system of how well you did inside the strike, and that was actually really good. You had not only had the modifiers, but you had a certain amount of points that you could score, and that made you feel like, hey, you're doing pretty good. Oh, you're not doing so good. Like depending on how fast you do it, or how much enemies you killed, or how fast you killed the boss. It was just overall a really good time to play the heroic strikes. Like that was like, imagine just you playing heroic strikes, you using a certain weapon that you absolutely love, especially the new raid weapons that came out in the Age of Triumph, like the Vigilant Confluence or the Fatebringer, and you realize that small arms and Arcburn is on, and so Fatebringer is like the best weapon you could ever use in that activity, and you just have so much fun that it's broken, but Bungie basically says, hey, you could do this because it's heroic strikes. You could do whatever you want with this. Now with Destiny 2, heroic strikes are like, okay, like all you do is just do the strike, and you can do certain activities, and depending on how you use your supers and your grenades and all, and some of your weapons, you might do okay. But I don't want to do okay. I want to be like the best dang guardian that could take out a strike boss within like 2 minutes. There's a community of that. There's literally communities among communities inside Destiny. Like there's the speedrunners of Destiny. There's like the Crucible, sweats for Destiny. There's the lore people. There's the collectors. There's like the weapon enthusiasts of Destiny. There's the raid enthusiasts of Destiny. That was a really good example of this. And really, there's just the Destiny overall, just playing the game. Like they absolutely love Destiny. Like they grew up with it. They played it since like minus 90 days. They've been around their entire they've been around since Project Tiger was announced of Destiny. you know. So, I have a feeling, and oh, don't get me started with like the end game community. I have a lot of friends who absolutely love the end game. Like all they did was like Nightfall 3 times, then they do the raid 3 times, in Tuesday night, and then the next day they would do like the other raid or something like that, and they'll do all three of their characters, and then the next one, then the next one, then the next one, and then like around the weekend they'll do carries for like LFG people, some of their friends, and all that. That's all they did. Nightfalls, carries, and raid carries all day, and they absolutely loved it. They met new people, they did all sorts of things. So, you know, it's a thing where heroic strikes are really a really good idea of how Bungie did, continue really simple end game activity. And honestly, that's gonna be a future point on this video. So let's keep going. So heroic strikes modifiers need to be back, and a variety of certain things that need to be back as well. Number three, just weapons overall. Like, I gotta admit though, Destiny 2, awesome weapons. Merciless, great. Um, Sun, I can't remember the hand cannon, solar one. It's basically Fatebringer. Sunshot, awesome. Colony, absolutely fun to use in Crucible. What else is there? There's a whole bunch of other guns. Cold Heart, Prometheus Lens, very good kind of weapons. We even have some weapons coming back, like Jade Rabbit and all. Really fun to use those. I feel like Jade Rabbit is actually better in Destiny 2 and Destiny 1. I love these type of weapons. We even have certain weapons like the Nameless Midnight. We have Uriel's Gift. We have a certain hand cannon I can't remember. I can't remember. Anyway, like there's some, honestly, these are all great weapons. But here's the problem. The reason why they're awesome weapons is because they're prefixed roles. Like imagine using Nameless Midnight if it didn't have the perks that it had. It was fixed, right? Like honestly, I kind of want random roles to come back, and I got to admit, Bungie like does want to have fixed roles because of balance issues. But here's the thing though, it's really simple. If you get, like for example, let's say you give Nameless Midnight for the first time and you think it's awesome, right? Well, you get the fixed role and there you go, you have Nameless Midnight. Interesting fix here, okay? If you get the Nameless Midnight a second time, have the second one a random roll. That's how you fix your problem, okay? That's how you fix your problem. You give us the guaranteed roll for any weapon yet you want, okay? It could be any of the weapons, okay? Uriel's Gift will still be awesome as Uriel's Gifts. Nameless Midnight will still be awesome as Nameless Midnight. Since the so Curtain Call will still be awesome because it's Curtain Call, okay? But the second time you get that weapon, you make it randomized. I'm giving gold to you, Bungie. You should do this with all the weapons, even maybe with the raid weapons. This is probably the best fix I could think of. It makes you happy, it makes me happy because we have randomization within the weapons. I absolutely loved it. Like I would hunt for all these weapons, and I would get really sucky weapons. But once I got like the best weapon, I would keep it, and then I would go on to the next one. That's what made me play Destiny a lot just by getting the weapons. Now I'm pretty much have all the weapons that I need for Destiny 2, and like there's some overall cool weapons like from Crystal Osiris. But, I already have some awesome weapons, Like, if my weapons absolutely sucked back then, like, let's say if we had random weapons in Destiny 2, and my weapons just stinked, and then I go forward and grab, some random rolls, for the Crystal Osiris, then, hey, Crystal Osiris weapons, probably a lot better for me. You know, it's seasons, it's, you know, phases of RNG. You know, the thing about playing games like Destiny or, you know, any MMO is you sometimes get randomization for what kind of weapons you use. You know, you might get an awesome build for using this particular weapon that you have. And not to mention, we still have vendors, right? However, vendors still feel really dry because we don't have any variety of random rolls. That was my most favorite part of like Age of Triumph, really. You know, it was like the raids, the new old weapons coming back, but most importantly, the new weapons coming back. We had random perks coming from all the vendors, and just imagine how all the vendors in Destiny 2 will work right now. You'll have all the weapons with Devrim K. You have all the weapons from Failsafe. You have all the weapons from Titan Girl from the Moon Titan. I can't remember. You also have, you know, Asher Mir's weapons. Imagine all of them being randomized. Wouldn't that be cool? I would love to go ahead and go to every single planet and see what kind of roles that's available so I could get them, right? Imagine how that would work. Like, many more people will still do a whole bunch of like patrol missions so that they can get those weapons. They will still be able to go ahead and not mind even doing heroic strikes, which are, you know, kind of flawed right now. You know, they would hunt those weapons because they already have the roles that they have for those particular weapons. But now they're going for the extra step. They're going for the god roll of a certain weapon. You know, and sometimes you would get awesome, you know, sometimes you'll get horrible rolls from vendors, but sometimes you'll get like the best dang rolls you can get from vendors. And that's what made it worth it, you know. That's what made Age of Triumph like so good, honestly. Like the free expansion was probably the best part of Destiny, where you could do anything that was made in the game, right? And then again, I have to admit, Destiny did have its flaws throughout its entire life, and it did have a lot of issues, especially later on in the game with like Crucible balance. But man, it was so much fun to do things, especially I mean you could do literally all of the raids and all of the heroic strikes and really anything you could do to get weapons, and even the Prison of Elders. Like you could still do the Prison of Elders and it was still fun. Whole bunch of variety there. You could do all sorts of stuff. That was like the ultimate end game for Age of Triumph. They and that's what's a really good you know, step that we can get to. So number 3, number 4, I can't remember. So what we did, like gun balance, we did variety for Crucible, we did heroic strikes, and then we have weapon variety. Ah, we could do this one. Really number 5. The thing is, we do have endgame. We actually have a you know, a good variety of endgame in Destiny 2 right now. However, that endgame needs to improve. I mean, really well. Okay. So what did we get? What kind of endgame did we get for Curse of Osiris? We got heroic adventures, which are cool. There's some certain challenges we could do. But the thing is, I barely play them. You know, make the heroic adventures. Make them better. Like make them familiar to us. Like a horde mode. Dado made a video saying, "Hey, you could just go ahead and make a certain part of the Infinite Forest a horde mode." Even I said this. Just you missed the greatest opportunity having the Infinite Forest as the next Forge mode for Destiny 2. Like I said, more end game content that everyone will want to play back. That's why we had Prison of Elders. That's why we had, you know, Archon's Forge. Even though it was such a simple design, it was still fun to play. I still came back to it even though it was like months after it. You know, we had bounties we could do. Oh, like like yeah, holy cow! Like bounties were like super important back then. Like you can get awesome rewards from the bounties, and I don't know. I kind of want bounties back because they were just fun to do. You know, they were simple. They had you do some quick stuff. You know, sometimes some of them are annoying, but it was so worth it for getting the rewards that you have: experience, glimmer, loot, etc. That was fun. End game activity that was fun. You know, it shouldn't be. The problem with end game right now is just, you would have certain phases where you would feel that the end game is not fun, it was serious, and I have to admit, the end game, like the raids, they're good, but sometimes I feel that it's not fun doing the raid, you know, especially the Leviathan, like, whole bunch of activities you could do in Leviathan, but it doesn't feel as fun than was back in like Vault of Glass, Courtesan, even King's Fall. King's Fall, for a lot of people, were their favorite ones, and a lot of people disagree on that, but it was still the King's Fall. Like, it had depth into it, you know. Um, yeah, like you even have certain things where people want the horde mode, yet they still don't have a horde mode. And there was a perfect opportunity to have a horde mode within the Curse of Osiris, which is a simulator that literally could simulate anything, any enemy, any boss, whatever. So you could do a horde mode in the Infinite Forest, but you missed it out, you know. Honestly, like, I'm just a little YouTube channel that tells you, like, oh, you should do this, you should do that, you know. The thing is, like, you gotta keep an open mind, and you gotta know what works and what doesn't work, you know. Like, I have to admit, there might be some things that didn't work for Destiny, and, you know, me playing this game since day one, like, I definitely did see some things that just didn't work. Like, a lot of the meta for PvP didn't work a lot at all. Like, there were very few times I actually felt that it was balanced, and even then, for Destiny 2, it feels okay, but it doesn't feel the best, you know. Like, there might be some things that feel like absolutely terrible in the Crucible, you know. Like, there are some things I could have variety with in the Crucible, in Destiny 2. However, I don't feel like there's enough variety. Like, I think it should feel a little bit more unbalanced, honestly. Like, end game activity is mega important, especially for a game like Destiny. If you have like an awesome game or an awesome campaign, which I had to admit, the campaign was a lot better at Destiny 2 than Destiny 1. However, if you don't have the endgame activity that you need to have, which really, for Destiny, endgame activity saved Destiny, you know. If it weren't for the endgame activity in Destiny, we wouldn't have Destiny, period. That's why the Vault of Glass was so popular, because really, the base game sucked for Destiny 1, especially vanilla. But when the Vault of Glass came out, it was the best game of all time. Yeah, so Bungie, like, if you want to be successful with Destiny, go, just go complete, like, Rambo for the end game of Destiny. If you do well for the end game, the game will be fantastic. No one will complain, period. You know? Like, let's say the next expansion will have, like, the worst story ever. Like, even worse than vanilla. But it had the best end game you could do. You know, you usually have, like, 4 or 5 different modes of, like, PvE and PvP. Everyone would enjoy that, Destiny 2 so much. Okay? What like, the majority of the players, they care about playing the game and seeing if it's actually good or not, you know? There are plenty of games that have terrible, terrible stories, yet they absolutely enjoyed, like, the gameplay of it. What was a good game that was like that? Well, obviously Destiny, but, well, at first the Division was, not so good, with its story. However, I have been hearing some of the gameplay aspects of the Division, and I've been hearing it's getting a lot better. You know, there were some things that they absolutely loved. Another example, what was it? Oh, was there's one game that was, oh, White Knight Chronicles. Meh story, okay? But I absolutely loved how the gameplay worked. It was a simple skill tree mechanic, and the end game was just monstrous. You literally had to grind like a solid 200 hours in order to get to the real end game. You know, you had to level yourself up to mega proportions of everything, and getting platinum for that game was basically impossible. I literally spent like over 400 out, yeah, maybe 500 hours of White Knight Chronicles, like in total, and it was still fun. Like there's still funny things I had to do before I moved on to the next game. You know, the end game was actually really good. The weapons were great. The armor gave you a whole bunch of bonuses, and it was awesome. Okay, and game's really important. So I just sometimes we have to be reminded of certain things of why we do things, and that's why like everyone loves Destiny so much was because of the end game. You know, if it wasn't for the end game, Destiny would have been dead. Period. Um, that might have been like number 5 step. I'm gonna add like 1 or 2 more because hey, I did say it's gonna be a long video. So, um, yeah. So the next step is really just there was this one thing that I wanted to talk about. Um, hmm. Really just having certain aspects. There's this one that came up to mind. Give me time, people. Like ramblings all over the place. Hmm. Well, there was certain. Okay, let's talk about this. Okay, so we talked about, you know, weapon layout a little bit. We talked about PvP variety. We talked about heroic strikes. We talked about endgame. We talked about what did we talk about? Really, honestly, I'm just gonna add this extra step here. What I actually like you doing is recently with since December and January is you've basically kept saying to us, okay, like we get it, like we're gonna do some stuff now that we're gonna try to improve on the game, which I like, okay? But you know, honestly, it was probably bad timing with the Curse of Osiris coming out and having certain things pop up of having, um, you know, just like some controversy with the Eververse and all that. And not to mention being the holidays where like a lot of Bungie employees were on their holiday. And really, overall, that was kind of bad timing for you guys. Like, it wasn't your fault, honestly. But it was really bad timing. And yeah, you definitely need to go ahead and like fix a lot of stuff. Like Eververse needs to be massively improved on. Like, okay, yeah, that's really my next step. Eververse, just focus on Eververse. Like, tune it to the point where back at Destiny 1, that it was actually enjoyable. You could actually get all the stuff you could get without buying all the stuff from Eververse. You know, especially get rid of like a lot of the barriers that we have at Destiny 2 right now, and just get rid of them. Period. Like Bright Dust, probably improve on that. Like if you want to make it so you can buy a whole bunch of stuff from Eververse, but at the same time it's really easy. Just make us earn more Bright Dust. Give it to our bounties or something. Hey, maybe go ahead and have bounties back. A lot of people love the bounties system. I do too. Maybe we could have specific bounties for getting Bright Dust. I'm pretty sure a lot of people like to do that, me included. More endgame activity. I can say again. Bring back Horde mode, please. I actually love Horde mode. Oh. Oh, should I say this or not? Yeah, I should say this. Most importantly, please, and I mean please, I was like, this was the worst thing about Destiny 2. There are no machine guns. Those were like my most favorite weapons in all the game. And you took it away from me. Like, a whole bunch of people love machine guns. Like, the Blacklink loves machine guns. Dado loves machine guns. Holtzman loves machine guns. I love machine guns. And you took them away from me. Why? Machine guns were awesome. Like, sure, they might be, for Destiny 2, they might be unbalanced, but why? Machine guns need to come back. Please. They were the best. Like, sure, rocket launchers were probably better than machine guns, but rocket launchers were more strategical. more, you know, more overpowered, I guess. Gallahorn in my head right now. But, you know, honestly, machine guns were used more because rocket launchers weren't as good in Destiny 1 than it is in Destiny 2. They are really good in Destiny 2 now. But, come on, machine guns were... They're basically the go-to heavy if you wanted to use... If you wanted to do heroic strikes. Then again, heroic strikes need to get fixed. Machine guns need to come back. If you have those two things, both machine guns and heroic strikes will be awesome. Just bring back machine guns. I don't know why you did that. That was like probably the stupidest move you did. That and like, I don't know, like there might be some stupid things that you've done that I can't even think about. Like 2 or 3 years ago, like something to do with Thorn or Hawkmoon or something like that, or like the Sun Singers and like the glitches and all that. Lots of glitches going on, by the way, too. Fix those for Destiny 2. I mean, just bring back machine guns. Like, this is probably the most stupidest movie you have. Just bring them back, please. Like, I just can't be more, like, I can't be more passionate with bringing back machine guns. Like, that was probably the worst decision you had, period. Like, I don't know why you did it. Bring back machine guns because, like, there's no reason to why get rid of machine guns. Machine guns will actually work out really well for Destiny 2. And really, there's a opinion out there saying that Destiny 2 makes you feel like you don't have much power, like for good reason. Like, we lost, you know, our light in the beginning, and we basically gotta regain it, right? Well, once we regain it, we need to get our power back. So we want our power through having, you know, our weapon system majorly improved on. Like, I think it does need to be improved. Again, link in the description how my crazy idea might work out. Having machine guns come back, like, that was true power for ads. Like, it basically destroyed them instantly. And having like a 100-round gun with like fast firing rate, it made you feel like the ultimate, like, you know, it makes you feel like the ultimate, like, guardian. It makes you feel like the ultimate, like, you know, crazy person with a machine gun that gets the job done, right? It made you feel powerful. And, you know, so, honestly, with the weapon system and, you know, heroic strikes not having mods or something like that, and not having machine guns, it makes you feel like you don't have much power anymore. And sure, there's some powerful weapons, but you don't feel powerful. Now, you are making us feel a little bit more powerful because certain buffs with our supers, and, you know, honestly doing more damage, and you know, making us do more things that we could do with you know, damage. Just give us more variety of damage. Again, variety. Bring back the variety of machine guns that could do damage, you know? Because machine guns, like, they're basically the embodiment of every Destiny player. The machine gun was extremely, like, hard to hold, hard to aim, and hard to, like, hear all your surroundings by shooting it. That really basically represents the community. But it gets the job done, and it was extremely fun to use. Okay? Machine guns need to go back into Destiny 2 because it's the embodiment of the Destiny community. That's my argument for bringing back machine guns. And W. Hunt, you're making a philosophical argument for bringing back machine guns in a video game? Yes, I am. That's how desperate I am for getting back machine guns. Just do it, okay? If you don't bring back machine guns, like, I don't know what I'm going to do, honestly. I won't be using machine guns, I'll tell you that. I'll probably go back to Destiny 1 and play with machine guns. Like, that's how bad it is, honestly. Fix machine guns. Also, like, probably the last point I have um, like lore, honestly. Like lore, like it's lots of story in Destiny 2, but I feel like the lore people are kind of getting smacked down into the ground because there's not as much mystery within the game, which I get. I love the lore. It's pretty fun to use, but it's not my go-to reason why I love this game. It's probably like my third one. Lore's great too. Like I loved asking questions for certain lore people, like Marlin Games, Veil Grizzly, Bife, they do an excellent job of talking about the lore. I love lore too. Like I literally read through the Book of Sorrows like a whole bunch of times that it was great. Like even my brother got into the lore with the Book of Sorrows, like my little brother. He thought it was fascinating, right? However, like you have the story within the game, which I am glad that you have. But why can't you just have the best of both worlds? Have like the, you know, ghost fragments and the lore of the game within its story into together. Now, I did hear with the same post saying that Rumble will come back. I did hear there will be like Congo Ghost collectibles. Not sure what that's gonna be. Hopefully, they'll reveal more of it within the next this week at Bungie. And again, I hope this week at Bungie makes this video make me look stupid. Okay, that's my goal of this video. So I hope that a whole bunch of stuff will come back. And this is actually a really big moment for Bungie, This is going to be the first This Week at Bungie since, like, December. So hopefully a whole bunch of stuff will come in. Like, probably patch notes will come in for improvements of weapon systems, maybe some endgame advice that they're going to give us. Like, what they're going on with the game, what kind of fixes they're going to go to, what they've promised for, basically for the past 2 months. Promises, promises, promises. Hopefully they'll keep a majority of them. I don't even care at this point. They don't keep all of them. Keep the big ones. Like private matches, need to do it. Improvements with like the modding system, they're gonna do it. Armor variety, they're gonna do it. Endgame, I hope they do the stuff with the endgame. And yeah, just make the game better. That's all I'm asking, 2017 was a very interesting year on a whole bunch of AAA games. Just went bottom of the barrel. Mass Effect Andromeda came into my head. Star Wars Battlefront 2. Basically, it's an awesome game with a terrible, terrible mechanic within the game that's made the game. That's like within around the game. And honestly, if it weren't for that terrible thing inside Star Wars Battlefront 2, like it'll be an awesome game. However, you just gotta keep your head into one thing. The reason why you make video games in the first place is because of the fans. Give the fans what they want, and you'll do great. Okay? Even PUBG is having a problem with this. The fans want certain things for PUBG to fix. Just fix it. Like, overall good things, like, would do good, especially in the video game community. Like, if the fans want to do certain things with games, then, like, game developers should make those type of games, Make games fun. A lot of people like fun. That's why they play them. Make games interesting. Certain mechanics. Make it original. Make it so that you could do certain things. Make it, I don't know, make it hard. A lot of people like playing hard games. Make it, cute. A lot of people like playing Pokemon. It's still a fun game. It's still a cute game. And it's still, like, a lot of people still play that game, for years to come. Make it adventurous. Legend of Zelda comes into my head. Make it, make it awesome, honestly. Like, yeah, just make games, make it good, make it better. Anyway, guys, that's it for my ramblings. It's just, there's probably like 4 or 5 rants in there. Especially bring back machine guns, most important thing. If you could think of, if you get anything off this video, Bungie, just bring back machine guns. Period. I'll be happy if you were to do that. Anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Make sure you go ahead to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Yeah. Also, check out some videos that I have, some videos / channels, and link in the descriptions. Very first link is gonna be my crazy idea video with the weapon system. I think the next one is gonna be a good channel you should watch if you like these type of subjects. Just talking about the game overall. I'll send a link to the channel called Say No to Rage. Awesome channel to talk about how to build Destiny, how to make it better. And honestly, I think Say No to Rage is an excellent channel that every one of you who plays Destiny should watch. Really good channel. Recommend you watch it. Link in the description. First two links will be my crazy ideas video. Second one will be Say No to Rage channel. Check it out. Also check out a whole bunch of my social media stuff: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. Even though I don't have anything with Twitch except for like one live stream. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching. Yeah, make sure you go ahead to like, comment, subscribe, and just share this video. Already said that, but hey, it's called repetition, guys. Still making videos. Anyway, see you guys. God bless. I'll see you next time, and comment below. What do you think? Bye, guys.